As you step out of your classroom after a long day in college, you are famished. You crave for Sunny's sandwiches. Sunny is a 22-year-old youngster who sells sandwiches and bhel right outside your college. He dropped out after grade 10 to join his father's business. You enjoy the everyday banter with him. He's your go-to person to satiate such hunger pangs. This Diwali, you even gifted him a t-shirt. He was elated. Will you invite him for a Diwali party with your friends? The watchman uncle in your building, he sought help for his daughter's wedding. You spearheaded the fund collection in your building and handed him a generous sum. He was forever grateful to you. He invited you for his daughter's wedding. Will you invite him for a gathering at home? Odd questions, right? Why would you? Do your lives intersect socially? These lives do not intersect socially. These lives occupy very different positions on the social pyramid. These lives have traversed very different trajectories to be where they are today. Can two parallel life trajectories ever intersect? Let's find out. Let us navigate through the life trajectories of two individuals. Let's call them A and B. A, born into the family of a doctor father and a homemaker mother in a small city in India. A has an elder sibling. B, born in rural India to a trader father and a homemaker mother. She has 3 siblings. At the age of 4, A starts going to school. At the age of 4, B starts playing with dolls. She does not go to school. Her brothers go to school. At the age of 13, A enters adolescence. She also goes on her first camping trip from school with her friends. At the age of 13, B too enters adolescence, but she learns domestic chores. She learns to make perfect round rotis. At the age of 15, A is preparing for a 10th standard board examination. At the age of 15, marriage proposals start coming for B. At the age of 17, A is preparing for her engineering entrance exam. At the age of 17, B gets married. At the age of 18, A leaves home. She travels 2,000 kilometers away from home to pursue higher education in engineering. At the age of 18, B leaves home to join her husband and comes and settles down in the sprawling slum of Ambujwari in Malvani in Malad West in the western suburbs of Mumbai. At the age of 22, A joins a premier software company as a technologist. Her day begins with a cup of coffee. At the age of 22, B is the mother of 2 children. Her day begins in the queue to fill water. At 26, A travels abroad. She receives the opportunity to design software for an international bank. She's enriched with technical exposure and international cultural learnings. Her weekdays are now filled with coding. Her weekends are filled with socializing with friends and colleagues, exploring a new country. At the age of 26, B is struggling with the basic necessities in a Mumbai slum. The slum is still bereft of road, electricity, or water. Her weekdays and weekends are filled with domestic chores and tending to everyone's needs. At 28, A begins to question. Though her international exposure, her life as a technologist had enriched her with learnings, with opportunities, with privilege, but her upbringing had socially sensitized her, and by now it had ignited in her a growing sense of uneasiness. She begins to question. She is disturbed by the glaring examples of inequality that she witnesses around her on a daily basis. Every day she sees children right outside her office, children working in food stalls for long hours, children who should have been in school but have dropped out or never received the opportunity just to make both ends meet, just to survive. She begins to question How can she use her knowledge and skills to make a difference? How can she, from her position of privilege, change it? At the age of 28, B is still struggling with the basic necessities. She's gradually began to accept that the community cannot provide a safe space for her children, but she wants to educate them till whatever opportunity the government school provides. At the age of 32, after several years of volunteering with the CSR wing of her office, A decides to quit her corporate job. By now, she has begun to understand the significance of long-term sustainable change. She now wants to use her knowledge of the technologies that she has learned in a classroom. She decides to join the Teach for India Fellowship. A chooses to deflect her trajectory. Teach for India is a fellowship. It looks for individuals who are passionate to bring about social change. They seek individuals who do not wish to be another cog in the wheel. It was built with the vision to end educational inequity in India. At the age of 32, for B, her daughter, who is enrolled in the government school, moves to a higher grade. She's gradually losing hope of being able to educate her daughter beyond the free grade, which is grade 7. The story of A is mine. The story of B is Aisha ji's. It is the story of 90% of the women living in the urban slums of Mumbai, which constitute 52% of the city's population, living in just 9% of the geographical area. As a Teach for India fellow, A starts teaching a classroom of 75 children. B's daughter is her student. Their trajectories intersect. What follows in those 2 years of my life as a Teach for India fellow in the municipal school classroom was my own transformation. My own transformation from a naive optimist who wanted to change the world to a hopeful realist who begins to understand what change looks like on the ground, its stakeholders, its process, and its ramifications. While I bring to the classroom my technical experience and my corporate experience of problem solving, of management, what the classroom teaches me is resilience. The classroom teaches me to be resourceful. The classroom instills in me a strong sense of possibility. And it teaches me to live each day with a sense of purpose and deliver. Now, my weekdays and weekends are spent with the children and their families, understanding their life challenges and their social context. I begin to develop a deep connection with the mothers of the children whom I taught. These were mothers with hope in their hearts. These were women who wanted to change their circumstance, but felt unequipped to do so due to lack of economic means and social standing. These were women whose life trajectories were defined to be primary caregivers, whose life trajectories were defined to be homemakers and not decision takers. Their hope to educate their children got me thinking. I felt, what if we could create an intervention which would empower these mothers, which would empower these women to first fulfill the economic deficit in their homes and then empower them socially. Maybe then they would ensure that their children stayed on the path of education. Maybe they could ensure their children did not drop out. That could probably lead to their next generation having a different trajectory, a trajectory that is filled with opportunities and choices. And thus, the seed for Aftertaste was sown, a social enterprise that I started with 3 women in the community of Ambujwari. These women had never held a pen or pencil, but they wanted to shatter the status quo. They wanted to alter the life condition and provide a better future for their children. These were women who had immense courage, and Aftertaste was started with just that, with immense courage and belief in their strength and power. It was their stories of endurance and challenge that had moved me. and Aftertaste got started, fueled by their urgent need. These women underwent a steep learning curve. They learned art and craft, they learned skills which were completely out of their realm. Most importantly, they transformed from a struggling homemaker to becoming a working woman with a high commitment to work. They stepped out of their homes, they sat together in a space, they collaborated, they worked in a team, and they created beautiful handicrafts through which they earned a dignified livelihood. Aisha ji was one of them. Aisha ji also joined Aftertaste because she sought a solution to her problems. She wanted to educate her children equally and wanted to give them a better life. Aisha ji transformed from being someone's daughter, mother, sister, to forming her own identity as an artisan of Aftertaste. She traveled for exhibitions. She did not just learn skills, she mastered them, and today she leads the stitching unit at Aftertaste. From her work, she derived immense courage, self-esteem, and she used that to take critical decisions like educating her children. Her work enhanced her social position at home and bridged the gender gap. It was she who started steering the financial management of her house and taking decisions whether to educate her children or not, how to save money, where to invest. When her family discouraged her to not educate her daughter beyond grade 10, she was determined and relentless. She refused to listen. With her salaries earned from Aftertaste, she educated her daughter not just till 10th grade, but also beyond that. Let's hear it from Aisha.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम आयशा है। जो आफ्टरटेस्ट में पहले जो मेरी ज़िंदगी थी वो एक जैसे कि एक बंद कमरे में रहना, और मुझे कुछ दुनिया का कुछ मालूमात नहीं था, और जैसे कि क्या होता है दुनिया में, पढ़ाई लिखाई और औरतों के बारे में। खाली मैं घर में बच्चों को संभालना, खाना बनाना, यही सब मैं करती थी। जब से मैं आफ्टरटेस्ट में आई मेरी ज़िंदगी बदल, और अड़ोस पड़ोस में जो होता है, मैं जो जैसे कि वो अपने हस्बैंड के कमाई पे ही उन लोग डिपेंड रहते हैं। अभी मैं जो हूँ कि मैं अपने खुद फैसले लेती हूँ और हर चीज़ मैं खुद करती हूँ।
Aisha chose to deflect her trajectory. Because she chose to deflect her trajectory, she ensured her daughter's life also had a different trajectory. At the age of 18, Sana, Aisha's daughter, left home, traveled 1,000 kilometers away to pursue higher studies in science. Let's hear Sana's story.
Joined Aftertaste, there are some changes seen in my home. Actually जो changes है, मेरे घर में ये है कि मेरे पापा ने डिसीजन लिया था कि मुझे 10th के बाद नहीं पढ़ाया जाएगा। जब से मम्मी ने आफ्टरटेस्ट ज्वाइन किया, देयर आर चेंज इन पर्सपेक्टिव। मेरे घर में लड़कियों को अभी भी गांव में यही रूल है कि 10th के बाद अगर उन्हें पढ़ाया जाए तो वो अलग रास्ता अपना लेंगी, वो भटक जाएंगी। उनका काम सिर्फ ये है लड़कियों का कि वो 4 दीवारी में रहें और खाना बनाएं, ये सब। लेकिन मम्मी ने सबसे फाइट करके उनसे अगेंस्ट जाकर मुझे पढ़ाया। अभी मैं 10th, 11th, 12th कंप्लीट करने के बाद now I'm pursuing B Pharma course from Karnataka. My dream is I aspire to get job in pharmaceutical industry.
Sana's trajectory is different from 90% of the girls in her village. Over the last 8 years, 50 such women like Aisha ji have chosen to deflect their trajectories, as a result of which 120 children and youth are on deflected trajectories. 200 family members are breaking the vicious cycle of social and economic poverty. You and I, many of us, we have the privilege to choose. We have the privilege to deflect. Find a way to deflect, choose to deflect. The point and the magnitude of deflection is our choice. When we choose to deflect, we gain the power to change our life and create ripples of change. Reject those defined paths. Be the master of your ship. Deflect now. Thank you. That's it.